So sorry, guys. I'm finally here. Um, I'll have to clip this at the beginning, but hope you guys are having a wonderful day. My broadcast was just being really weird right now. It wasn't like showing up. And then, anyways, guys, I did a wonderful, really interesting uh, film room, I guess, for myself, taking a look at every single play that the Buffs ran on offense against Nebraska. Some really interesting findings. As you can see, I have them right below me. We ran out of pistol 5 times. We ran a total of 6 plays. We averaged 7.6 yards per carry out of this formation. So when myself or other people here on YouTube or in the media, not the casual media, because they just think our players suck, which is not true. When you take a look at this, you can see like we need to be putting our offensive line in the best position possible for them to be successful. And we're not doing it consistently. When we've chosen to do a little bit more pro set stuff, like, like give our offensive line, give our running back a little full head of steam going to the line, we've actually had a lot of success. It even got to the point where we'll run through all these plays at the 26:50 mark here in the film that they actually stack the box against this pistol set because of them being gashed for 20 or for 30 something yards or whatever. Crazy. For 29 yards on 3 run plays. So they stack the box and Shador's able to hit a quick out off of that look for a nice 5-yard gain. This is what I'm talking about in terms of using the run, giving some different run looks to then make things easier for the passing game, easier on the offensive line, easier on Shador. Like, this is basic stuff. And I'm going to show you guys in these plays that our offensive line doesn't actually suck. Now, are they the best? No, but we weren't expecting that. But what I was expecting is that this coaching staff would put this offense, Shador, our running backs, and our offensive line in the best position possible to be successful. They're not doing that consistently at all. So I'm going to break down these plays. Of course, y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments, but 7.6 yards per carry, and we're not going to this consistently against a good defense in Nebraska. Now, you could say, Dave, you're facing light boxes. Since when are we trying to make excuses for our team running the ball well? Like, come on now. Let's run the tape. Let's see what you guys think about this. So, before I guess I run this play, you guys might say, when is this coming in the game? This is the 18th offensive play, if I counted correctly. It could be wrong. It could be like the 19th or 17th. But guys, Pat Shurmur scripts 15 plays. So this is probably at the end or has been left off of the script. Now, sometimes you might go off a script based or off of the scripted play because of what you're seeing there in a particular situation. You know, we went for it on 4th down, like earlier in the game, right? With a halfback draw to Charlie. Yeah, but all that to say, the first 17 plays from Colorado came out of gun. So you could either say that this was at the end of the script where we're finally starting to just see, well, let's just throw out pistol and see if we're getting a more advantageous look. Why aren't we mixing this up at the beginning regardless? I don't know. But hopefully through the small data set we have available for us for the success that we had out of this formation, only being run 6 times, we'll see more of this against CSU, right? So let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, I got my tool right here. Let's run it. Oh, that is at way too fast. Okay, you see we're facing like a 6-man box here. And look, nice little, I believe this would be a zone. Nice gain from Charlie. Gain of 6 yards here. Offensive line is able to get their momentum moving forward. They're not just blocking from a place of like put our feet back and stand our ground type of thing. No, they're able to get out running, and that's going to really benefit them. You see Hank Zelinskis with a nice little block. Khalil Benson does well. Even Tyler Brown's even helped clean it up with this. You see Justin Mayers, Jordan Seaton, like everybody does a really good job blocking here. This is a gain of like 6 yards. This is a gain of 6 yards. Now, what do we go back to? It's 2nd and 4. We go back to gun. But just wanted to show you guys, like right here, this looks like a real offensive line. And if they're going to be playing the pass, if they're going to give you some light boxes like this where you can run away from that 5th and 6th guy, right? Like this is, let me get my tool out here. Like you can, because you're running this direction, guys, got everybody going this way. In a sense, it almost nullifies these two players over here. So you get a really advantageous look, like, and it rightfully results in a really good gain for Colorado, right? Let's go ahead. But again, we see this at the 7:54 mark in this film. We don't see this set again until the 2020 mark in this film. What? We run it for 6 yards? So let's go ahead and move to 2020. Another pistol set. Again, light box. Look at that, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another 6-man box. Daring us to run it. Okay? Just daring us to run it. So what do? We run it. Watch the result of this. Boom. Like now we're dealing with a 2nd and short or a 2nd and fairly short. 2nd and 4. Again, Dallin Hayden, Hank Zielinskis, Khalil Benson, Tyler Brown. Like they're all looking much better than they are in certain other scenarios that we've seen over and over again. You see Tyler Brown handles the edge. Khalil Benson's able to get up north. I've always thought that he was a much better offensive lineman going south to north or whatever, or getting upfield rather than going laterally. Like you get him with a full head of steam. He's able to get in the way. He doesn't pancake the guy, but still, like that's much better than what we've seen in certain scenarios here with CU, especially at running out of the gun. Like we have run so many plays out of the gun running that we just know it's not nearly as effective as giving the running back a little bit more of an advantage. Not running all these RPOs all the time to see if Shador's going to hold on to the ball a little bit longer than he should, just to see if that passing window opens up, right? It just kills all the momentum. It doesn't look right. You see here, gain of 6. Beautiful. Now let's go to the gain of 17. What? We ran a run play against Nebraska for 17 yards? Yeah, we did. And guys, look, another light box here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 5-man box. So we rightfully make them pay. I believe this was down Hayden again. Getting upfield. Guy, the offensive lineman, getting running, getting to the 2nd level. Like, let's watch it from this angle. Like, getting out wide. Hayden finding the hole. I mean, look how far upfield 67 is, 66. Mayers. Tyler Brown getting up there. Hank Zielinskis taking care of that nose tackle. Like, this is beautiful. Beautiful. Like, we can run the ball. Like, we are capable of doing it. Gain of 17. Now what's really interesting is take a look at this. You say, David, like, what about this pro-style stuff? You're talking about how that's going to benefit Shador, set him up for success. Well, then watch this. Watch this. 2650. Look at this. So they've been gashed for 29 yards on 3 run plays out of this formation. So the 4th time that they see this, what do? They stack the box. Let's see what we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, 6? Oh, man. I thought they actually had a 7th guy in there. Apologies. But still, you got a ton of guys like at the line, right? Watch this. Advantageous look. And Shador is able to just say, okay, look, I got the numbers game up top with what's going on here. I can just throw this little bubble. Or maybe it's a little out that he ends up throwing here. I forget. Let's see what happens. Yeah, a little bubble. Getting upfield for a gain of 5. And that's all because of the threat of the run, in my opinion. They got all these guys playing close to the line. They all come up. And because of that, we're able to then move the ball laterally, which then ends up taking advantage of our speed and ends up in a nice gain for us. So that's out of pistol. A gain of 5, pass play. Now, let's watch the last 2 that we run out of pistol. The 27-40 mark. Another light box, 6 guys. Watch this. Ryan Staub's in here. But still, gain of 6 right there. Can't remember if 35 is Welsh or Brandon Hood. Oh, I guess that's the next play. You see here down Hayden. Getting upfield. Nice little gain. Again, our offensive line actually moving forward. Actually looking like a true offensive line. Imagine that. Like giving them an opportunity to move forward. Giving them an opportunity to get their legs under them. Get their momentum moving in a way in which it favors them once they're making contact with these guys, right? Look at Justin Mayers, man. Peel off, take care of that other linebacker. Got Dallin Hayden finding the right hole. Another gain of 6. And lastly, this was a gain of 3, but watch how we handle this 3rd and 1 as opposed to how we've handled 3rd and 4th and short in other parts of the game. So we'll go to 28-39. Another 6-man box. 3rd and 1. Able to get that easily. Might have even been 4 yards right there. I think they gave him a bad spot. Yeah, 35. I think that might be Brandon Hood. Maybe it's Welsh. Y'all can let me know. But like that's what I wanted to show y'all, is that we're actually capable of running the ball. We are just choosing not to. And it is my hope that some sort of analyst, I'm sure, if a random guy on YouTube is taking a look at this, you know the coaching staff sees this. They see the data. They see how much more efficient we've been running the ball out of all these other different sets. But again, what's a little frustrating about this is that we're not even seeing a different formation other than gun, 10 personnel, or some 11 personnel in gun until that doesn't change until the second quarter. Like this is like the 17th, 18th play where we see a pistol formation. So it wasn't even really like you could leave it at the end of the script. Like maybe this was one of the last plays on Pat Shurmur's script to start this game. But the fact that it's not even at the beginning, it just shows that like there wasn't really a desire. There really wasn't an intention to actually establish a running game. Like there wasn't. And it's encouraging, but also maddening because it shows that we can actually do it. Nebraska has a good defense. Were we seeing lighter boxes in these scenarios? Yes. We're probably going to see lighter boxes throughout the year, especially if we continue to not run the ball. But guys, like going up against CSU, we need to just get rid of any desire to show style points, anything like that. and let's go average 7.6 yards a carry. If we can just run out of pistol for like 15 plays, guys, that's 114 yards. Like, that looks like a real running game. So yeah, people that are just blaming this offensive line, saying it's worse than last year's, I'm not buying it. We saw again in the past, they did struggle with some of these plays. It didn't look right, but there are things to still take away from this game in which, like, it's just very clear we're not putting the guys in the best possibility or in the best situations for them to be successful. What I am getting a little worried about is that even though we see this type of result in just some different formations and looks as opposed to just straight out of the gun, is that what we're doing right now is inserting one or two new offensive linemen, moving guys around on the line, even if they're starting, and it's just get a new starting set of 5, and hopefully that's going to be better. My fear is that we're going to do that without actually changing the look of this offense. But don't believe the hoopla that people might say that these players suck. Nah. Do we have an elite offensive line? No. But they sure are talented enough for us to be successful. So, with that being said, I'm going to get to some of your comments. Again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. Paul, the play callers in the booth have been the major problem. I'm still going to put the majority of the blame on Prime at this point. We've had 2 offensive coordinators that have a ton of history on calling plays. This has looked just like Sean Lewis's offense last year didn't look like a Sean Lewis offense. This doesn't look like a Pat Shurmur offense. You guys want to know what happened the one time we ran a jet sweep so far this year? Or in this game, we ran one jet sweep. It was to Travis Hunter. It was for 8 yards. Like, there are so many things, and I think we ran motion less than 10 times just in general in this game. I need to go back to actually chart it, but it was crazy. Just the lack of, we were just making everything easy for the defense, man. But there are so many things that we can be doing to help establish a better run game. We can emphasize the jet sweeps, the speed a little bit more. Like, remember all this pre-snap motion with Andy Reid and Mike McDaniel, Kyle Shanahan? Like, Pat Shurmur comes from that. Has he done it as much as those guys, like, throughout his NFL career? No, but like, I've seen it more than what we see now. I think Prime's just, I literally just think Prime and Shador are just wanting to pass the ball. And hopefully this week was a wake-up call, because when you take a look at this, you look at this data, running data from this formation, you should have confidence that your team can run the ball. You just got to help them get there, okay? This is like where coaching and game planning really matter, instead of just blaming the position coaches, instead of just blaming the players for not being any good. No, actually, this is something where Prime needs to take hold of this, and he needs to set the tone from the top down that, you know what, we're going to run the ball because it's going to benefit Shador. He's going to get better looks in the passing game, no doubt. I'm Water Guy. Prime continues to push the narrative that we can't run the ball. We believe it last year, but playing daddy ball is not working. Yeah, that's a great point, I'm Water Guy. I think, too, you got to wonder, because if you're wondering about the script guys, the first scripted plays, how many run plays did we have? I'm looking at the first 17 plays or so. We had 3 run plays to 14 pass plays. It's hard for me to believe that was the ratio. There were some, I believe one was an RPO in which we ran it, which I actually felt like Shador should have thrown it in that situation. But either way, like, there's a disconnect. Everybody needs to be aligned. Prime, Shurmur, and Shador, they all need to be aligned to get this commitment to the run going. Because it's hard for me to believe that we had two designed actually or three run plays in the first 17 and that we weren't checking out some of those things. Right? Chad, doesn't this look like better run blocking? Again, guys, if you're just tuning in, how about we take a look again at this gain of 17? This is on a first down, guys, I believe. This is on a first down. Let's take a look. 24-43. But we ran it for a 6-yard clip early in the first half, and then we don't see it again until the second half. Crazy. First down. Oh my God, dude, we didn't see it till the fourth quarter. Or, yeah, fourth quarter, because that 2020 mark wasn't too far away. This is the third run out of pistol. Watch this. Doesn't this look like a real offensive line? I'm not going to stand for that this year, that these guys suck. No way. Nah, man, our coaching has sucked. That's what I'm so pumped up about, is that I know these guys are better than what the result is. And we're holding them back from being we're just being arrogant with how we're running this offense. It's arrogant and it's going nowhere. Again, guys, let's look at this again. 1st and 10. Gain of 17. And yeah, they still got their starters in, guys, I believe. Yeah, there's 0 right there. Say, well, what about when they were trying in the first half? It's like, we're not even trying because we only ran this once in the first half. Again, we had success running this play for 6 yards, and then we don't see it again until the fourth quarter. 6 in the box, daring you to run. All right, we will. We run it for 6. Even Charlie's looking good there, man. I think it's so encouraging to see this. It's also maddening that we're not doing this more. Now we got the opportunity to do this more against CSU. Let's develop an identity of real NFL football. That means everything is predicated off the run game. Everything. The Pass Rush Podcast. Just look how smooth that zone run looks at the pistol. Doesn't it look like a real offense? Yeah, we're playing some 3-man fronts. But again, that's what Nebraska traditionally has played. I'm Water Guy. The offensive scheme is too predictable. Running Charlie Offord off 4th and 1 is laughable. Yes, especially at a gun when we can't run at a gun. We cannot run effectively at a gun. Texas blasted CSU. This is a must-win game. Yeah, it absolutely is. This should be an opponent that we handle. MT said, they said Shador will be playing from center, so hopefully that's a good sign of changes. Yes. But at this point, I had a tweet about this yesterday. I was like, it's great to hear, but I actually have to see it before I start believing it, because Coach Prime has talked about all offseason how this offense is going to look more pro, how we're going to run the ball more. Shador's even said on streams how they're going to run the ball more, and that there just hasn't been a dedication to it. Hopefully we get that. Hopefully we get that this week. I'm sick of feeling like I'm being lied to by this coaching staff where they say they're going to change things in terms of the scheme. And you might say, well, it's not ideal to just be figuring this out right now and changing this up against CSU. Well, again, this was also a staff that decided, you know what, we haven't practiced all offseason long with Tyler Brown as a right tackle, but we're just going to go ahead and do it. like 3 weeks before the season starts. So, again, it's not ideal, but we can pivot. We pivoted with other things. This film doesn't help with Coach Prime's narrative that we can't run the ball. Yes, there is just not a desire to run the ball. We absolutely can. We are doing these guys a disservice. Imagine the narrative if we could actually run for 100 yards in a game, like from our running backs. Again, all we need are 12 runs out of this formation. If you're just doing the math to hit 100 yards. We can't do that against CSU. Chad, the second half of the NU game doesn't mean anything because the starters weren't in. I just showed you they absolutely were on those fourth quarter plays. You saw Hutchmacher in there. You saw number 9 in there. That is false. Now, I will say, is their effort level the same, as the first half? You could totally argue that. But at the end of the day, the data shows that we can run the ball. If you just want to make excuses for why that's not the case, sure. There's always another side, or there's always something that you could say, well, actually this, actually that. But if you're just looking from a data perspective, this is pretty eye-opening compared to the fact that while we're running in gun in the second half, it's still going for shit yards. What do you say about that? I am Water Guy. Michigan won a championship with a balanced attack. Yes. And J.J. McCarthy was a top 10 pick because he played within a system and they won games. He does not need to throw for 5,000 yards. He does not even need to throw for 4,000 yards. Let's see Shedeur play within a true offense, because what we've seen so far throughout these 14 games, minus the ones he hasn't played in, it's been a shell of what a true offense should look like. There's been no commitment to the run game, and that's where it starts. This is where Prime needs to set the tone, and this data should give him confidence in coming out there and trying to have somewhat of a balanced attack. What's good, Dave? You were so calm but precise your last video. You really held it together. You got this, though. Thank you so much. Again, you ride this emotional wave with me. I'm a Buffs fan through and through, no matter what. And I want to see this program successful. I want to see Coach Prime successful. What's encouraging is that I think the main things that we need to change, we're actually completely in control of, which is amazing, which is also why I get so fired up about it, why I can get so emotional about it. Feel a lot of this is in our control. These players don't suck. They don't. This offensive line doesn't suck. Yeah, Ty and Nash aren't starters. Some stars still playing. However, it's a mix and match of second string players on both sides. It wasn't until the last two snaps that I showed you, the last two plays, which is a 6-yard gain and then a 3-yard gain. But before that, it was all starters. So they actually had a higher run yards per carry if you want to take out those plays, Chad. But I think that's dumb. Nicholas Easton, run blocking in general is easier than pass blocking. Easier to block going forward than moving backwards. Yes, this is basic stuff that we have just refused for 14 straight games. Well, again, for 13 out of the 14 games, because we actually ran it against Utah last year with Ryan Staubin at quarterback. It has just been arrogance. It's ignorant. And that's why I think a lot of us are starting to be frustrated, because Nebraska was the game where you start to show the different looks that this offense can give you. We can run the ball. Landon Lee, Offerdahl is the next CMC. Flea and Pat need to retire. Got a lot of questions about Fleet. Pat is fine. I think with what he has been calling, what has been scripted, at this point, Prime's on his second coordinator. It looks eerily similar to last year. He's the guy to blame in terms of setting the tone from what we're running offensively. Pat Shermer's just doing what he's asking. That's the truth. Welcome back from the dark side, Dave. I'm in a little bit better of a mood today. And again, going through this offensive footage, it was encouraging. It was maddening. But looking forward to CSU, it's like this gives hope that we can adjust. We can adjust. We can show some new looks, right? We can have this actually look pro style. I'm sick of talking about pro style and having this product look anything but that. Hey Shirley, how are you doing? Ivan, this is a great point right here. Brock Purdy is about to get money, and he's doing just fine being a system quarterback. Shanahan makes the game easy for his quarterback by establishing and committing to running the ball. And right now, the pressure has just been put on two. And I think that's been the welcomed strategy by both him and Prime, to do that. But it's clear that it's just not working. It's just been the same stuff. This should get confidence. Like, you can build a run game off of this. You can build, again, a respectable run game in which a play action has to be respected. And then imagine factoring in some jet sweeps and motions across the line, like as you're snapping the ball, giving guys on defense just a ton of decisions to make in that split moment. That's why Mike McDaniel, his offense looks great. Andy Reid, of course, it's going to look amazing with Patrick Mahomes, right? Kyle Shanahan, as you're bringing it up, Ivan. I wish we had him in Denver, but it is what it is. He does such a great job putting Brock Purdy, putting the Niners in position to win. Don't believe the BS that this offensive line is trash. It's not. It's true. The offensive line doesn't suck. The coaches suck. Yes. This is something that they have to be better at. These players deserve to be put in schemes that bring out the best play in them. Whatever's going on, nobody is getting the best play out of them in this type of scheme that we've seen it, where we're just running gun. Yeah, exactly. We can do this. We can turn this thing around. As Russ talked about in Buff's Blitz last night with me, said some of these defenses that we face, they're just as vulnerable as ours, if not more. There's going to be opportunity to run on these defenses. There's going to be opportunities to pass on some of these defenses, like Texas Tech, giving up over 500 yards a game right now, and Okie State. Oklahoma State is as well. The only way you're going to be able to consistently thrash these guys is by also having a respectable run game. And again, guys, notice how I'm not saying, can we run the ball 20 times a game? No. I understand we want this to be a high explosive offense with Shador at quarterback, but you're not going to give him the best looks passing 90% out of the gun, doing all this stuff, running out of gun for 1.2 yards a carry or whatever it is. It's just clear we are so much more effective in running out of this formation. Let's continue to give our offensive line some confidence. That was such an issue that I had last year, is that they were getting shit on by the coaches and the media. They were getting shit on by us. Nobody wanted to blame Bill O'Boyle and these guys for not putting the offensive line in position to be successful. No, this falls on coaching. They got to get it right. And Shador is going to eat. That's the one thing that's just maddening about this, is that our passing game will absolutely eat if we're thrashing their defense for 6-7 yards a carry. RS watching you from the Philippines. Thank you so much. I believe you're a Cornhusker fan, RS. Am I right about that? Good luck this week. Mike, speaking of Cornhusker fans, proud of Seton, no penalties. Yes, I thought Seton's played great. And his ups and downs right now, as a true freshman, there's been a lot more ups than there's been downs. I think he's been great. I think he's been great coming out here as a true freshman. But yeah, I am a little concerned because we got a new offensive line coming into this CSU game. Not the most ideal thing. I would rather change the scheme first because I'd rather these guys continue to learn how to communicate effectively with each other, develop that chemistry on the offensive line. It's like it's an ecosystem, those guys. But if we're also changing up how we're running the offense, that makes me feel a little bit better and a little bit maybe less concerned about the new guys coming in. But again, this program doesn't do anything by the norm. Dave, if Prime hears you talk shit, you're done. What does that even mean? I don't do interviews with Prime. I don't have a press pass. I have no relationship with anybody directly employed on the team. I don't know what that means. I got my degree from CU. He can't take that away. What does that mean? Like, I just can't lie to you guys. There's some good things to take away from our run game so far this year. We just haven't cared to run them. Leafy Nebula. I'd like to see a good blend of running and passing. Then it would be hard to predict them each play for the defense. Could not have said it better. Leafy Nebula, you're saying right now in 2 sentences what I've been trying to say for 38 minutes now. Thank you. Heart of sports. CSU ran for 118 on Texas. That's a bit concerning. But good things is that late stretch in November doesn't look so tough right now. Yes, because those defenses do not look nearly as tough. But yes, CSU is going to come out here and run the ball. They got a quarterback that's not very good. And yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of stuff that NDSU did. Like, they're going to try and run the ball a bunch. And Nicolosi's going to get out, try to run all that. We'll see how it goes. If we're not changing our offensive game, our game plan or scheme or anything like that, and we're just going to do everything that we've been doing since Prime has been here, it's going to be a close game. CU doesn't cover in games they're favored in when they're playing this way. Like, historically, just look at the data. They just haven't. The only one they did was Nebraska. And so you could say 20% of the time they cover when they're favored. 80% of the time they don't. But if we actually come out here and try and have a pro-style type attack with pro-style type priorities, we're going to cover. We're going to cover. We're going to do that. No doubt. No doubt. I want to see that. This could be the turning point out of this era so far, where we finally get it right on the offensive side of the ball. DQ, we don't know what's going on in Colorado. Coming up with these scenarios from the outside does nothing for us or them. In terms of just what I feel like is going wrong, I have no connections inside the program. I don't talk to anybody inside the team. So anything that you hear me say is just me trying to make sense of some of the just buffoonery on the field that I've seen. I'm not one talking about all the dumb articles about the locker room culture and all that ridiculous stuff. No, the only thing that I'm critical of is just the stuff that I feel like I'm seeing on the field, trying to make sense of this. Because Sean Lewis's offense didn't look like Sean Lewis's offense last year. This Pat Shurmur offense so far does not look like a prototypical Pat Shurmur offense. It just doesn't. So I have to look at the constant. Ivan, you trusting our kickers? Say the game comes down to 30, 40-yard field goal Saturday night in Fort Collins. I will, but I'm not going to say it's going to be a pretty-looking field goal. You know, but Mata's got to get those kicks up. I think that was something I was expecting this offseason for him to be bigger at or better at. But I guess shame on me for not watching enough practice videos. I had no idea if he was still kicking the same or not this offseason. We need to use Isaiah and dude, Isaiah Harge would be pretty interesting common sense buffs. Kind of a versatile weapon, can do all sorts of things. You could have some 2-back sets, maybe line Isaiah up in the slot, have him motion jet sweep. You're faking a bunch of things. A lot of misdirection. Like, isn't misdirection so beautiful to watch when it's being executed, right? Remember all the misdirection that Kenny Dillingham gave our defense last year? A very poor ASU team. I think, honestly, a team that was less talented than us last year. But you saw how the scheme and the game plan really got the most out of their small amount of talent on the field last year. But it was the misdirection that was just gashing us up last year. Why can't we do a little bit of that? Again, I feel like going back, I didn't track it, but it must have been less than 20% of the time we were running motion pre-snap. We were making things so easy for Nebraska, and they rightfully destroyed us. Mikey knows Juju Lewis won't even look at CU now, and I want it. I want it. When the whole offseason you're talking to us and they're probably talking to him about all this pro style, all this stuff, and then you come out the first 2 games, you don't even see anything that resembles that. I would feel lied to as well. Let's hope they turn it around, because I don't again, there's so much potential with this team. This team is good enough to be very competitive. This team is good enough to win a lot of games this year. Let's put them in positions to win. Those pistol results are interesting, right? Very eye-opening. Very eye-opening, especially because we were still running out of gun the entire time and for the majority of the game as well, with minimal success. Maybe I should have tracked. I wish PFF gave this on running out of gun versus pistol, some of this other stuff. I don't think they have that in their premium stats, but it would be really interesting to see what the longest run out of gun that we had this past game was. And I don't think it exceeded 3 yards. Yeah, but guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I think I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down. But again, the biggest takeaway is that this line actually has some life to it. They actually got some dog in them. They actually got the ability to kick ass. Let's put them in positions to actually do it. And it starts with the man making almost $6 million a year to put the team, to set the tone, to get the best out of these players that he's bringing in. I want Prime to be successful. I'm not calling for Prime to be fired. I believe he can figure this out. But in order for that to happen, there has to be a turning point to where the light comes on, and you got to say, no matter how much I believe in my son, I have to look at the data. And the data suggests that we can have a balanced offense somewhat this year with this offensive line and the running backs that we got. So, guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys. I will be back with another video tomorrow. It starts this week against CSU. This is our get right game. Appreciate you guys as always. Go Buffs.